Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. It is showtime for the first episode of Aftershock. Let me know that you can hear me well, and we'll go ahead and get the show started. Time is officially 9 p.m. It's been a while since I've done commentary, so I want to make sure that my voice is clear. Got my Red Bull ready. All right, so you guys can hear me. That's great. It's time to get this show started. And here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, 3Dub Wrestling is at the edge of something historic. For years, this industry has told you what to watch, who to cheer, and what matches you're supposed to care about. That era is over. Tonight doesn't mark a reset, it marks a rebirth. A new and exciting era where opportunity isn't promised to a select few, it's earned, and it's everywhere. In this new age of 3Dub Wrestling, the locker room is wide open. New faces, new voices, new hunger. Talent will no longer have to wait in line for permission. If you have the skill, the heart, and the fire to step into this ring, we will give you the opportunity and the platform to prove it. Countless opportunities, no ceilings, no limits, but make no mistake about it, this era isn't just about the wrestlers. This era is a gift to the fans, because for the first time, you are in control. You don't just react anymore, you decide. You choose the matchups, you choose the rivalries, you choose who rises and who gets left behind. Every vote you cast shapes the future of this company. Every decision will be written in real time. Your voice is the booker. Your passion is the direction. Your loyalty is the power. This isn't wrestling for the fans. This is wrestling by the fans. And as we get ready to take a look at this week's match card, I want you guys to know that we have lined up for you an amazing show this evening. And the beautiful thing about that, you guys have chosen this card. First matchup we're going to see, John Awesome versus Scott Adams. We know that Scott Adams has been beginning to build a little momentum. John Awesome has all the momentum in the world with his issues that he's been seemingly getting the upper hand on Townsend Enterprises. So looking forward to seeing this match here tonight. We know that if Scott Adams wins this match, he has taken a step closer to a shot at the Global Championship. I would imagine that would be right after Bash if Scott Adams is able to win this matchup here tonight. Very excited about this one. And hope you guys are excited also. I mean, after all, this is the match that you guys chose. Second on the card tonight, we will have Mad Dog X versus Josh Armstrong. These two guys are no strangers to one another. You could almost say that they grew up in the E-Fed world together. We know Josh Armstrong's MO, he's going to attack the arms. But I believe that this is potentially a statement matchup for MDX. I believe that he is one of the most underrated talents in the E-Fed world. And this platform is the exact spot for him to showcase his talents to the E-Fed world. Great matchup here. You have a technical submission wrestler versus, I don't even know how you classify MDX. He's known around the E-Fed world by many names and by many aliases. And then we have the main event for tonight, Jaden Walker in a dealer's choice match. So that means you won't know who his opponent is until he makes his way to the ring. So I'm excited for that one also. I hope you guys are. Jaden Walker, we know his MO. He's going to attack the legs. And actually, he's gotten away from that recently. He's attacking every part of the body. Thank you. I couldn't find the words. But MDX, yes, he is known as the hybrid wrestler throughout the EFED world. But back to this one here, Jaden Walker versus an unknown opponent. I'm looking forward to this one, guys. And it's about time for the action to start. I hope you guys are ready also. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and share this show. We want to get as many eyes on the product as possible for the first episode of Aftershock. And here we go, guys. This first matchup of the evening, John Awesome versus Scott Adams. And making his way to the ring, former World Heavyweight Champion, ladies and gentlemen, this is John Awesome. Fans loving John Awesome here tonight, but you got to know that John Awesome has a bullseye on his back, probably by every member of Townsend Enterprises at this point, after some say that he cost Chris Harris the world title last week at Gold Rush. Some may see it a different way, but nonetheless, you know that Townsend Enterprises is somewhere lurking. But John Awesome looks like he's ready for action tonight. And one thing that I like about John Awesome is that he hasn't backed down from these guys. Most people do, but John Awesome has yet to back down from Townsend Enterprises and seemingly taking it right to them. But look at this. Backstage, Lars Wow slamming Scott Adams through a table. Oh man. And you know what that's got to mean? He's paving the way for none other than the handsome one himself, as Chris Harris is making his way to the ring, and business has just picked up. These two trading blows now in the middle of the ring. Scott Zeeb's there trying to get control of the action, but no. Rights and lefts from John Awesome and Chris Harris. Chris Harris now looking like he's gonna get out of here, but man, the fans are absolutely loving this. You know, John Awesome not gonna let Chris Harris. Oh my gosh! Chris Harris ramming John Awesome into the barricade there. But these two going right back at it again. Steve Zeeb's now trying to get out of the way. I don't even think this is an official match. Oh my God. John Awesome bouncing Chris Harris's head and shoulder right off of the steel stairs there. And now somebody's standing at the top of the entrance, and I think that's Lars Wild, but yes, that's Lars, and Awesome now coming to blows on the apron. I don't think we've been live a good 10 minutes now, and all hell has broken loose. Let's cut away from this one, guys. Got to get control of the action here. My gosh. And if that is a sign of what we can expect here tonight, then I got to tell you guys, that is not what I was expecting for the first matchup. And what does this say for Scott Adams? Completely robbed of his opportunity to get one step closer to that global championship. But let's move on here, guys. We're going to take a look. As we move on, we want to take a look at the top 10 power rankings. Man, I got to catch my breath. That was getting a little out of control there. Let's take a look at the top 10 power ranking, guys. Let's see if we can get some control over this show here tonight. Oh, man. What a start to the show. All right, and here we go. Coming in at the number 10 spot, Sander Cool. And that's who all of this global championship, it started with Sander Cool. And we saw on the last episode of Blackout last week, Joe Rivers as a matter of fact, I'm just going to say it now. I can't believe that Hunter hasn't announced it already. But Joe Rivers has been suspended for attacking Nora Cool in the fashion that he did on the last episode of Blackout. Coming in the number 9 spot, new world heavyweight champion, Chris Connolly. And you know that Townsend Enterprises has to be aiming for him also. Maybe not just Townsend Enterprises, but you got to wonder if Hexen is aiming for Chris Connolly. We saw Hexen make his way down to the ring on the last episode of Blackout and tell Chris Connolly, you owe him something. So you know that's got to mean that Chris Connolly is going to be facing Hexen somewhere down the line here in a rematch. Coming in the number 8 spot, the cornerstone, Caleb Stone, representing Townsend Enterprises, who have already made their mark on this show, and now they are making their mark in the power rankings as Caleb Stone is coming in the number 8 spot this week. And coming in the number 7 spot, again, Townsend Enterprises' own and the new XTV champion, Will King. He is the entity. I just saw him shooting a commercial for his new sneakers, Entities, a couple of days ago, and I'm excited about that. And I'm pretty sure you guys are going to like these new sneakers as well. Will King in the number 7 spot. Coming in the number 6 spot, Chris Harris. Again, Townsend Enterprises not only have their fingerprints on this show as well as Blackout, but they have their fingerprints all over the top 10 power rankings here, guys. Chris Harris furious, as you can see here tonight. After, the funny thing about it, Chris Harris is the only member of Townsend Enterprises that doesn't have gold, and he was within inches of doing that at Gold Rush, and as in his words, was robbed by John Awesome. But next up in the power rankings, Bobby Galileo. Hasn't been confirmed yet if he's a member of Townsend Enterprises. But Bobby Galileo climbing the ranks in power rankings and an impressive specimen. Man, I got to tell you, this guy right here is an athlete like I've never seen before. And in the number, I believe that's what, number 5 spot, John Awesome, taking the fight here tonight, right to Townsend Enterprises, trying to take out Chris Harris and Lars Wild and any other member of Townsend Enterprises that will get in his way. John Awesome climbing the ranks in the power rankings here tonight, guys. And in the number 3 spot, Josh Armstrong. Dropping down a spot, actually. Josh Armstrong was number 2 last week, but number 3 this week. Josh Armstrong on a mission also after returning from injury after being burned in the face by Will King. Josh Armstrong has climbed right back to the top of the power rankings and is looking, as he says, to kill the king. Climbing the rankings, number 2 this week. Probably the most hated woman in EFED, and I personally don't understand why, but nonetheless, number 2 in the power rankings this week is the television champion, Danny Moore. Again, representing Townsend Enterprises. I think that's almost every member of Townsend Enterprises being represented in the power rankings, with the exception of Lance Hagen. But nonetheless, congratulations to these members of the power rankings. But again, rounding out the top 10 and holding down her spot at the number 1 in power rankings, top of the food chain, none other than former women's champion Nightshade. Shout out to Nightshade, I don't even want to say one of, the hardest worker in EFED. Congratulations to Nightshade once again, holding down that #1 spot in the top 10 power rankings. Ladies and gentlemen, it is about that time to move on to our next matchup of the night. Glad to see Dewey Danielson stopping by, the voice of 3Dub. We know that I am not as talented as him on the mics, but we're going to do our best to get through here. But ladies and gentlemen, it is that time to move on to our next matchup of the evening. And that matchup is none other than Josh Armstrong versus MDX. We know that MDX, if he wins here tonight, is one step closer to getting a shot at the global championship. And I can guarantee you that MDX is going to fight with all that he has here tonight. But the only problem with that is Josh Armstrong is going to be standing on the other side of that ring. But ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise and give a warm welcome on the first episode of Aftershock to MDX. And as MDX is making his way to the ring tonight, I'd like for you guys that are in the chat to let me know who you have your money on here tonight. I got to tell you, both of these guys are hungry. Both of these guys are determined. And both of these guys are looking to leave here tonight with a win. I think the casual fan would probably be going for Josh Armstrong in this match, but I got to tell you guys, this man right here standing on your screen, I've said countless times before, is the most underrated athlete in the EFED world. And if he, oh man. If MDX can get past Josh Armstrong here tonight, he will not only have gotten one step closer to the global championship, but arguably would have slayed his toughest opponents. Because I'm going to tell you, this man right here, Josh Armstrong, is not the Josh Armstrong of old. When this man returned after getting his face burned by Will King, he has been relentless. And this, this Josh Armstrong has devastation and destruction written all over him. I'm excited for this match here tonight, guys. We could potentially be, and I know there's only 3 matches on this card, but this right here very well could be match of the night. I can guarantee you that these two guys are going to leave it all in the ring here tonight. So again, for those of you that are watching, you can see that Josh Armstrong launching his body right at MDX. MDX going for a cover here. I know that's not going to be enough. I think MDX just testing the water. But Josh Armstrong launching his body at MDX. And now springboarding off of the ropes with a clothesline, taking MDX off of his feet. MDX a little slow to get back to his feet there. But as this match progresses, I want you to watch the offense of MDX. One thing I love about this guy is maneuvers just like that. I can guarantee you just about every time that MDX enters this ring, you're going to see some type of offense that you've never seen before. And keep in mind that there are no DQs here on Aftershock. Look at this knee to the face. Oh, my gosh. Steve Zeeb standing in the ring. Really can't do anything but count or call for a submission here. But these two guys right here, they know each other so well. They've basically grown up in the EFED world together, have battled all around the world. When I tell you that these guys know each other's offense, they know each other's weaknesses. And that's why you're going to see reversal after reversal here with these two. They know the counters to the counters, the reversals to the reversals. This match right here is going to come down, I believe, to who can capitalize on someone else's mistake. Armstrong pulling the table from under the ring. Look at this. MDX. Armstrong on his shoulders and ramming him into the barricade. Oh my God. Going to feel that one in the morning, guys. MDX now taking the action. Armstrong, I should say, taking the action back on the inside, but Armstrong taking a little bit too long. And look at MDX now floating over with the power bomb to the outside. But Armstrong able to recover with an enziguri, taking MDX off of his feet. Armstrong now back in the ring. Taking a little bit too much time. I don't know if this is the smart thing to do with MDX now. MDX looking for a weapon, and that steel chair will definitely do the job. And look at the ring awareness of Josh Armstrong, not giving MDX enough time to use that chair, and now with a springboard headbutt. And look at this, another armbar submission. There's so many different ways that Josh Armstrong can lock this move in out of nowhere. But as I said before, they know each other's offense so well. MDX able to fight out of that one very quickly, which is good for him, because the longer you stay in that move, then the shorter this match is going to be for you. But look at MDX now on the offense. The trifecta of suplexes going for a cover. Steve Zeeb in position. That's one. But Armstrong kicking out at the count of one. Man, MDX full head of steam, taking Armstrong off of his feet. And again, for those of you that are in attendance here tonight, you got to let me know who you're choosing or who you want to see win this match. I know you guys got to have a preference, because this is the match that you guys voted for. Submission maneuver locked in the middle of the ring. Steve Zeeb, Armstrong able to break free. Got to tell you that Armstrong is a submission specialist. Not only can he lock those maneuvers in, but he knows the counters to them also. As you can see, the headbutt. At some point, I think we're going to have to find out what that mask, another submission maneuver locked in. Steve Zeeb's in perfect condition there. But MDX able to fight his way out of that one. But as I was saying, we're going to have to find out what that mask is made out of. Super kick. Got another cover here. That's one. Armstrong again kicking out at the count of one. I've noticed that ever since Armstrong has been wearing this mask, he's been using more and more headbutts, and they're seemingly more and more effective. So I want to know, what is that mask made out of? Armstrong now with that chair. Oh my God, going to work on MDX, the lower back. You know MDX has got to feel that one, slow to his feet. But look at this, suplex right on the chair. Oh my goodness. Another trifecta of suplexes right on the steel chair. Armstrong now slow to get to his feet this time. MDX now taking his time. That's Armstrong to the top of the turnbuckle. And look at this one. Look at this. Oh, my goodness. Got to cover here, guys. That could do it. That's one. That's two. Armstrong kicking out at the count of two. Look at that. Double springboard moonsault. Another beautiful maneuver by MDX. And this is what I was talking about, guys. MDX now grabbing the letter. What is he looking for here? Armstrong kick to the midsection. Going for a cover here. That's one. MDX kicking out at the count of one. Back to his feet. And able to capitalize. Pop-up power bomb. Fill every piece. And the MDX now in firm control of this match. Another suplex on the steel chair. And that could do it. That's two. Oh my God. So close. So close. MDX now wondering what does he have to do to keep Armstrong down. And maneuvers just like this on the steel chair could do it. Good gosh. One, two. Armstrong again kick it out at the count of two. MDX looking amazing here, guys. This is what I was talking about. This right here could very well be a statement match for MDX if he's able to pull this one off. Now with the light tube, but no Armstrong with a clothesline, taking MDX off of his feet, taking too long to capitalize. MDX now not able to capitalize. Another reversal by Armstrong. Arm hold classic. This could do it. This could do it. Is he going to tap? MDX holding on. No. Armstrong releasing the hold. But has the damage been done? Armstrong with a light tube to the face of MDX. Got to cover here, guys. That could do it. One. That's two. Oh! It doesn't get any closer than that. It does not get any closer than that. And I know Armstrong is wondering, because I'm wondering at this point, what does it take to keep MDX down? MDX is wondering, what does it take to keep Josh Armstrong down? And I'm wondering the same thing, but you got to know that something has got to give. MDX now with another power bomb. Oh, good God, MDX now with that steel chair. No. Sees another opportunity. No. Armstrong reverses. Able to move out of the way there. Armstrong again launching his body at MDX. And MDX now slow to get back to his feet. Armstrong missing with the steel chair. MDX now grabbing the chair. But look at this. Dropping Armstrong again on the steel chair. Armstrong thriving in pain. And not able to get back to his feet. This could do it. One, two. Oh. Armstrong again kicking out at the count of two. What will it take to keep one of these men down? MDX looking phenomenal here, but no Armstrong with the reversal. And Armstrong on the attack. This right here is where you do not want to be in a match with Josh Armstrong. Armstrong got that hold locked in tight there, releasing the hold. And now looking, thought he was going to take the action back on the inside, but no. Armstrong looking to do as much damage as he can on the outside of the ring here, now attacking the lower extremities. And look at this. Oh my God. Oh. Armstrong now looking for another weapon, another light tube to the midsection of MDX. And you got to know that MDX is in trouble here, guys. Look at Armstrong again, attacking the arms, attacking the hands, attacking the shoulders. And the fans here are loving every bit of this. Look at the fans standing on their feet and cheering or booing. I don't know. They don't seem to be too fond of Josh Armstrong here. But MDX now taking the action back on the inside. Armstrong following. Missing with the knife edge shot, but Armstrong right into the arm hold classic. And the MDX fighting, but no, MDX taps. Armstrong gets the victory here. What an amazing match. Man, I'm telling you. An incredible match here. Armstrong with the win, but MDX has nothing to hang his head on in this match here, guys. MDX absolutely taking Josh Armstrong to the limit with that move right there, and I thought that was going to be it, but Armstrong somehow managed to kick out after getting dropped on that steel chair numerous times in this match. I don't know how Armstrong was able to pull this one off, but even right there, another one. Oh my gosh. Head smacking on that steel chair, but Armstrong able to persevere here tonight, guys. You talk about an amazing match. I'm just calling the action and I got goosebumps here, guys. Now the question is, how do you follow that? And that's a tough one, guys. I'm telling you, you very well could have witnessed match of the night with these two guys here. Nothing short of amazing. Armstrong and MDX leaving it all in the ring. Incredible match. And that match right there tells you what you can witness here on Aftershock. But moving right along, the main event for this evening. Jaden Walker in a dealer's choice match. And of course I am the dealer. So that means I had to pull some strings and get a special opponent for Jaden Walker here tonight, guys. And I hope you guys enjoy this next matchup. Dealer's choice. Jaden Walker. Mystery opponent. Live on Aftershock. I gotta catch my breath. Let me take another sip of this Red Bull as we get ready for action here, ladies and gentlemen. Making his way to the ring, former national champion, the longest reigning champion of any kind in the history of worldwide wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, the leader of Team Tap Out. This is Jaden Walker. You know, it's kind of known. It's almost a. Wait a minute. Is this who I think? Yes, it is exactly who you think it is. Ladies and gentlemen, give a warm welcome, making his debut on Aftershock and making his return to Worldwide Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Gorilla Cruz. Sometimes it seems, and the history books have shown this over and over again, that when a champion loses a title after holding it for the amount of time that Jaden Walker held his championship, they almost seem to lose themselves. And with this man right here making his way to the ring, Jaden Walker does not have any room to question himself here tonight. If he second guesses himself, if he hesitates in any shape, form, or fashion, this man right here is going to make him pay. No doubt about it. Ladies and gentlemen, Jaden Walker versus Gorilla Cruz. Only on Aftershock. Fans are already in an uproar. And so am I. Big right hand starting this match out from Gorilla Cruz. And that right there is exactly what I expect to see this entire matchup. The strength, the power of Gorilla Cruz. Walker going for a springboard maneuver. Cruz not even giving him the opportunity. I got to tell you guys, the amount of speed, athleticism, and strength from Gorilla Cruz is unseen. It's unheard of. But Walker here looking to do the unthinkable and slay this giant. This time going for the moonsault and missing. Gorilla Cruz right back to his feet. Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. Walker with a spear taking Cruz off of his feet. One thing that I know about Walker, he is not going to back down from a fight. But one thing that I know about Cruz, he is not going to lay down at all. Either man that wins this fight here tonight is definitely going to have to earn it. Walker going for a cover, that is not going to be enough to keep Cruz down. Cruz kicking out at the count of 1. I think Walker may have just been testing the water there. Walker now with an Irish whip. Big right forehand, or forearm. Taking Cruz off of his feet. Another moonsault landing that time. Going for a cover. That's not going to be enough. Cruz again kicking out at the count of 1. Cruz now with the reversal. Back to his feet. And look at the power, the raw power of Gorilla Cruz. Almost looks at times as if he's just toying with Jaden Walker. Look at this. Look at this. Oh! Just tossing Jaden Walker like a rag doll. Walker again going for a cover. I don't know if this is out of desperation or not, but that's definitely not going to be enough to keep Gorilla Cruz down. Another springboard moonsault taking Cruz off of his feet. You can get the sense that Walker already knows that he's not going to be able to match power with Gorilla Cruz. So he's doing a little bit more high flying this match. And speaking of not being able to match power with Gorilla Cruz, grabbing a Singapore cane is a great way to equalize it, but no, Gorilla Cruz right back to his feet. And taking Walker down. Oh my goodness. That forearm is the equalizer in itself. Cruz not landing all of that springboard shoulder block, but enough to take Walker down. Walker back to his feet. And now with a shoulder, a side slam on Cruz, and now telling Cruz to get back to his feet. Walker with a kick to the midsection, a flurry of punches. And Walker now in control of this match. Look at the athleticism from Jaden Walker. Another forearm. Taking Cruz off of his feet, another cover, but that is not enough. Not even a 1 that time to keep Cruz down. You got to know at some point, look at that headbutt. And I think Walker has been busted open, but comes right back with a spear of his own. I told you guys, Jaden Walker is not going to stay down. Cruz now with the table. Walker with a Singapore cane. And the Singapore cane wins, taking Cruz off of his feet. My goodness. Walker now all over Gorilla Cruz. And taking the action back on the inside. Walker almost showing somewhat of a vicious side here. But you just about hesitating that might come back to haunt you. But no, he's able to land that spear to the midsection. But Cruz shaking it off, almost no selling that offense. But here's Walker again with another clothesline, taking Cruz off of his feet. Walker again going back to the top rope. Another moonsault. Going for a cover here. That's not going to be enough. Getting a 2 count this time, but not enough to keep Cruz down. And I would imagine somewhere in here, Walker is beginning to ask himself, what is it going to take to keep Cruz down? Going back to the old bread and butter and attacking the lower extremities. And that might be what it takes to keep Cruz down. Attacking the legs, because if you weaken the legs, perhaps he won't be able to stand. But Walker now with an Irish whip. Cruz with a reversal. But no, Walker with reversal of his own. Both men trying to gain control of this match. Walker again with another Irish whip. And look at this now. Taking Gorilla Cruz to the top rope. But Cruz now with an elbow. Walker shaking it off. It looks like he's tasting his own blood. Look at Walker. It's over the head suplex. And Gorilla Cruz filling every piece of that. Going for a cover. That's 1. This could do it. That's 2. No, Gorilla Cruz kicking out at the count of 2. And for sure that time, Jaden Walker is wondering what does it take to keep Cruz down. And landing another moonsault. And this right here might be exactly what it takes, as Jaden Walker is going to wrestle Gorilla Cruz with that steel chair. But Cruz now back to his feet, shaking off the chair shots. And look at this, just manhandling this. Oh my God, manhandling Jaden Walker. And look at that. This type of offense right here, no man can withstand. But Walker somehow, with another reversal, will not stay down, taking Gorilla Cruz's best shots and back to his feet and climbing to the turnbuckle again, and this time landing a frog splash. And Walker now grabbing that steel chair again, attacking the midsection of Gorilla Cruz. 3 unprotected chair shots. Will that be enough to keep Gorilla Cruz down? That's 2. No, Gorilla Cruz kicking out at the count of 2. And look at Walker now. Firm control of this match. Suplex. Modified T-bone suplex. Cruz rolling right out of the ring. Walker pursuing, but rolling right into a clothesline. And Gorilla Cruz now turning up the aggression. As you can see that blood rolling down Jaden Walker's face. And that slight hesitation coming back to haunt Gorilla Cruz as Jaden Walker makes him capitalize. Another moonsault. My goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing the absolute, no, I was going to say the best of Jaden Walker, but Cruz again with another reversal. And now going to work on Jaden Walker on the outside of the ring here. What an incredible match. I didn't think you'd quite be able to follow Josh Armstrong and MDX, but these guys here, looks like Cruz actually slipped and fell off the turnbuckle, but able to capitalize. And man, these guys are leaving it all in the ring. What a match here. We got Gorilla Cruz now with a chair shot. Look at this. Ah! Oh my God. And Jaden Walker's head is just inches away from those steel stairs. That could have been career ending right there. And look at that. Oh my goodness. Awkward landing by Gorilla Cruz. Looks like he might have done more damage to himself than Jaden Walker there, as both men are slow to get back to their feet. Reckless abandon from both of these guys here. And the question you gotta ask, how bad do you want it? And Gorilla Cruz is gonna answer that question with a set of steel stairs. But look at Walker now. No. Able to capitalize. Kick to the midsection. Got a modified armbar here. Shades of Josh Armstrong. Locked in tight, but no. Walker releases the hold. And you got to wonder if that is enough to keep Gorilla Cruz. No. Look at this. Ankle lock. Locked in. Will that be enough? Locked in tight. Walker dropped down to the mat. But no, releases the hold. I don't know why he released the hold there. I guess this would explain it. Jaden Walker looking to do more damage. Grabbing a steel ladder. Oh my goodness. Busting Gorilla Cruz open with that steel ladder. And Jaden Walker now going to the top rope. Shades of Macho Man Randy Savage from the heavens, landing that elbow to the midsection of Gorilla Cruz. And Gorilla Cruz is out on his feet. Walker taking the action back on the inside. This could do it. Is that enough? That's one. That is two. And that is three, ladies and gentlemen. Jaden Walker slays the Giant and defeats Gorilla Cruz in the main event of the first episode of Aftershock. What a match. What an incredible match. If you thought Jaden Walker had lost a step because he lost the national championship, ladies and gentlemen, this match right here proves that Jaden Walker is still at the top of his game. An incredible match, incredible performance by Jaden Walker. I mean, how do you even prepare for an opponent like Gorilla Cruz? But Jaden Walker rising to the occasion here and getting the win over this mammoth, and doing it in convincing fashion, if I say so myself. Massive win by Jaden Walker here tonight, guys. That right there does it for Jaden Walker. I think both of these guys are going to need to get checked out to make sure that they are not in concussion protocol. But my goodness, guys, what an incredible show tonight for the first episode of Aftershock. I do appreciate you joining us tonight. And we'll look to see you on the next episode next Sunday on the Blackout. Great show here tonight, guys. Appreciate the effort from everyone. And I want you guys to get ready for the polls for next week, because we will be returning. And you remember, you guys are in control of the matches that we see on Aftershock. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining. And as always, stay awesome and have a good night.